We're going to go over how to estimate the cost of your accessibility audit. More and more prospective clients are reaching out to me and asking about this. And then we have this comment from today. Good video auditing costs. What is a page? If a web page includes 3 PDFs, is that 4 pages or one? What if a PDF has 60 pages? Is that considered 1 or 60 pages? Thanks. So this is a really good question. I hadn't thought about this. For documents, we separate those out. Those aren't going to be a part of the audit scope. So you typically, unless it's a very rare situation, you're not going to audit a document. You'll just remediate it directly. So you will make the fixes directly to the document. And that would be a separate quote. So no PDFs, no Excel spreadsheets, no Word documents, etc. Those will not be in an audit scope. But what will be in an audit scope are pages, screens, and or views. So when we look at digital assets, that's what we're looking at. And then we're coming up with a cost based on the complexity, how much unique content is involved. That's where the cost is coming from. And we're about to go over just a real life example of what the cost might be. But keep in mind that this is not precise. This is more just like a general feel for a page or screen. And here I'm going to tab to the accessible.org cost calculator. You can calculate the entire cost of your project with this calculator, but here we're just focusing in on the section accessibility audit. And then so we have here simple pages $50, light pages 100, medium 175, and then complex 250. And then right along with this, just consider any screens. So if you come across a screen, just go ahead and consider it the equivalent of a page. And then if you'd like to add mobile to this, so you can add iOS mobile for an additional 30% of the desktop cost. And then you can also add Android if you like, and that's an additional 30% of the desktop cost. So now let's go to fandango.com. And so here we have a web page. This is a web page. We're on a website. This is the home page. This is going to count as one page. So with Fandango, we have the header, and then we have the content consists of different movies, so the images of different movies. And then scrolling down, we have some different videos, and then we have some cards for the theaters near you. We have an advertisement, then we have some more cards for offers, more movies, and then we end with a significant footer. So the footer has links under different headings, and then below that we have social icons, and we have all of these different links. These are mostly legal type terms and condition types of links. And then we have a screen. So the screen here is at the very bottom, and it's for your privacy choices. So we can go ahead and select your privacy choices. Up comes another screen. And then, so this is a way to opt out or opt in and confirm your choices. So you can expand here, look at additional text. So this is going to be a screen. And so for this screen, probably looking at $75 for this screen. And then for the bottom screen, you're probably looking at $50. And so these are two different screens. And I say screens because they're not a part of the page. So for this page, this is going to be a complex page. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of unique content. There's a lot of different interactive elements, and that's a real driving factor in cost. The more interactive elements, the more it's going to cost. When I say interactive elements, think of any input fields, think of form fields, think of anything you can select, think of anything you can toggle. Anywhere where the user is going to interact, that's going to be an interactive element. And so here we see that there's this top bar with some different links. We see there's a search field. We see there's this slider that's also in the header where we can change different text that's showing up. And then we can see these different movies and we can click on them. And so we have different videos and these cards. So for this page, I'm going to quote, it's probably going to be $200 or $225 for this page. Now, what's important to remember is that there's going to be redundant content on the next page in this website because the header and the footer are very likely going to repeat. So we're going to take that into account. We're not going to charge you for that header and the footer again because that doesn't really make sense. We've already covered that on the homepage. So we take a very commonsensical approach. We're not simply multiplying the number of pages and then arriving at a cost. We're going to consider what content we've already gone through, and we're going to try to include as much unique content and as many different interactive elements that are unique on, in this case, the website. And what we're trying to do ultimately is come up with a representative sample of your digital asset and then audit that representative sample. And then so any other additional issues that result from the same or similar content, your team's going to know how to your team's going to know what issues exist on those different that different content, those different types of layouts and templates. All right, so we've gone through this homepage, and then we can see there's a sign and join button. So I'm going to go ahead and select this. And this is actually a link that is going to take us to a separate page. And so we can see here, this is a very simple sign in. We've got a join uh, I'll call this, it's not really a card. I don't know. It's just like a section where we can input. It's a form field. We got first name, email address, password, and then join now for free. We can also sign in. So for this entire page, there's some other content. We see a very simple header with just a logo. And this page is going to cost, this is probably going to be $75. And then so let's go ahead and go back. And we'll go back to the Fandango homepage. And I'm going to show you, let's actually click on one of these movies. So we'll go ahead and open up the movie in a new tab. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the fan store as well. So looking at the movie, we can see we have this movie page. We've got the same header. We've taken out the slider, and we've just got dates that you can watch the movie. You can reserve the movie time. You can buy movie tickets. You can check the seats. So let's go ahead and check the seats. So here's another example of a screen. We have a screen on top of a page, and it shows us where we can select a seat. So this screen is probably going to be $75. Let's go ahead and buy tickets to, this is Wicked for the Good. So it's a 10:30 showing, and we will go, and here we will see the checkout for Fandango. And so actually this takes us to another place where we can select our seats. So let's just go ahead and, looks like this is nearly sold out. I didn't know movie theaters were doing this well. And we'll go ahead and select this. And by the way, this page would probably be, this looks like $100. And now we're at the selecting our tickets. So here's where we can go ahead and add more tickets. So I'll go ahead and add a senior ticket, 2 senior tickets. These are very expensive movies. This adult ticket is $25.68. And I think I'm not going to press continue. I don't want to continue on the privacy policy. But we can see here there's an expandable. We have an expandable section where now we have additional content. So this would be, I would categorize this as a view. So we can now view additional content based on making a selection. And so because of that, we need to take this into account when we're going to price out the this page. And so this is just text. So it's very easy. Whenever you come across text, it's usually going to be on the lower end unless there are a lot of different considerations such as headings and tables and other just different types of texts and formats that's going to increase the complexity. But overall, what we're doing is we're just trying to look at how much time is involved in evaluating the digital asset. And we may also take into account if we come across a lot of accessibility issues, we know we're going to have to account for all of those accessibility issues. And this is just informally as we're looking at the digital asset and we're assessing for a quote. If we come across a lot of issues, we just get the sense that there's a lot of issues, then that's going to increase the price as well. And so one way we can do this is we can go ahead and scan the page if it's public, and then we can look at how many issues are going to return using an automated scan. Now that's just another way that we another factor that we're weighing in. But it doesn't mean that it's going to dramatically affect the cost unless it's just like you're using outdated technology. And we can see that there are literally dozens, if not hundreds of issues. That's where the price is really going to fluctuate. But on this ticket page, you're probably looking at $75. So let's now go to the Fandango fan store. And what we have here is we have a subdomain. So really this should be two separate audits, because a subdomain really is its own separate website. But here we can see we have a different header, and we have the ability to expand the menu. And so we've got a slider here, images we can add. We have new products that we can look at. So let's go ahead and look at a product. And then so here we can see there are different products on this products collection page, which is how I'll refer to it, because here we don't have a single product. We have a collection of products. What we can do is we can click on one and we can get a quick view. And so here we can see that we can add this product to cart directly from a screen that has come up. So for this screen, probably $75 for the screen. And then also take into account that this page, we can filter by price, we can input the price, we can change the product type, or we can select the product types that we want to look at. We can also select by gender, so we can filter that way. We've got another screen in this pop-up. This pop-up is probably going to be $50. And then this page, it looks like, so the page is fairly simple other than those filters, and we've got these different cards for these different products. So this page is probably at $100. Let's go ahead and go to one of these hoodies, and let's go ahead and add it to cart. And actually what I wanted to do, so we have this cart here. This is another screen. This is fairly interactive. We've got a view cart. We've got we can increase or decrease. So probably 75 for this side cart. And then let's go ahead, and what I want to do is I want to go to the product page itself. So let's go to full details, and now we'll go to a different page, and this will be a product page. And so here we can see that there are more interactive elements. We can select a size. We don't select a color because there's only one color. We can add this to cart. We can expand the content. We can look for order information, so expand this. So here we have a different view. This is not significant because it's just more text. But if it were more significant, what can happen is you're on a page or a screen. Within that page or screen, you can view more content. So this is like there's another way it opens up to additional content. So that's another way that the cost could potentially increase. And those items, all of these different items will be itemized in the scope. Also, look at this. We've got looks like a chatbot or support. And so we have this screen. So this screen is going to come into play. This is going to be interactive. We've got Fandango help. We've got a privacy policy. And we've got so this is going to open up to a new page. So this isn't too complex. And then we have different selections we can make. So we can click return order, cancel order. And so we're going to go through these, look at the representative sample from within this chatbot. But the chatbot itself probably going to end up being 150 to 200, depending on what we take a look at within the chatbot. But now you've got a really good feel for what goes into what is a page, what is a screen, what is a view, what are we looking at, and how are we deciding what to charge. And so for these for the different pages I've gone through, going back to the cost calculator, we've got several light pages, we've got several medium pages. The complex page is going to be the home page. So even here, it probably wouldn't even be $250. If you use this cost calculator, and just based on what I've gone over, you start to go ahead and conservatively assign light pages, medium pages, complex pages. You're going to have a really good estimate for your accessibility audit, and it's probably your quote's probably going to come over under, because this is a conservative calculator, so it's going to be on the higher side. So remember, when it comes to simple pages, just think: is something very light? Is it very minimal? Is it just text-based? Is it, for example, a privacy policy page? Let's go ahead and look at a privacy policy page. Here we have, let's just look at terms of use. So if we go to terms of use, actually this is more involved because we've got this sidebar with the bookmarks. So here, probably $50 for this page. And let's go to accessibility statement. And let's just look at, okay, so this is very light. So this is going to be $25 because all it is, the only difference here is this small section of text. So it really is going to be a nominal amount. And that's what you're looking at for the simple. And then for light, just think of a little bit more. Again, this is going to come back to how much time is it going to take us to go through these different pages or screens. That's what we're looking at. The more interactive elements, the more unique content, the more it's going to be. The lighter it is, the less interactive elements, the less, maybe if it's just text, then that's going to reduce the cost. So if you have a page where there's a lot of interactive elements, err towards complex pages or medium pages. And then as it goes down, then look further down. Now, when it comes to scoping, we're looking for a representative sample. So we're also going to remember the common sense approach. If there are two pages, we're not going to charge you the same for two pages that are basically the same. And that is because you've already got, if we're auditing one page, we're going to audit the same page. So going back to fandango.com, looking at this individual movie page, we can see here we've got Wicked, and then let's go ahead and open up Rental Family, and we're going to see this same style of template use, the same style of layout. So we've got Rental Family, and actually I opened up two different types of pages. So one is for getting movie tickets. So here we've got the dates and we can select a movie and the time. The other is to actually buy. This is actually for a collector's pack that we can buy. So we've got an e-commerce style product page here with an add to cart and then the image of the movie. But let's go ahead and let's go to another one of these pages. And what I want you to see is that the template is going to be largely the same. So I've clicked on Now You See Me, Now You Don't, and we can see this is another movie theater where we're being prompted to buy movie tickets. And so it is basically the same as what was the other Rental Family. And so again, here we have the dates, we have the times, we can select our seats. We're not going to go over both of these pages unless one of them is unique enough to where we think it's relevant, where we would recommend going ahead and adding in the second page. But here, that wouldn't be the case. So we're not going to continue just adding pages and adding pages. We're trying to keep this comprehensive. We're trying to include as much unique content, as many interactive elements as in scope, but at the same time, we're trying to limit that so that we're not doing anything that doesn't really make any sense. So it wouldn't make any sense if we include both of these movie theater reservation pages. We'll just include one, but we will include this product page. So if we were looking at Fandango, then we would include this collector's pack, and this would be an e-commerce page. And so these would be two different pages that we look at. This one page for the collector's pack is very simple. We've got an image, and it's really like a zoomed in version of the image of a smaller image. We've got text and we've got add to cart. Here, I mean, this is probably 75. And then for the movie theater tickets, I think we've already gone over this. Fairly involved page. Here you're probably looking at 150. And so that would be the cost. And look, I mean, even scrolling down, we've got images of the different actors, and we've got some frequently asked questions, and we've got some videos below this. So fair amount of content on this page. The content usually isn't as difficult as the interactive elements. And so that's what we're looking at. And here we've even got a trailer that we can play. So this is going to open up into a new screen where we've got a video. So this would be a screen on the audit scope. And so this is the mindset when someone is scoping out your digital asset for an audit. This is what they're looking for. Again, there's not a precise way to do this. It's not exact calculation. Rather, it's a feel based on experience on how much time this is going to take, and then we price accordingly. So going back to the cost calculator, we have simple pages, light pages, medium pages, complex pages. And then what you can also do, you could start here, and then you can add an iOS mobile audit, for example. So for a website, we always recommend both desktop and mobile, and that is because people access websites from both desktop and mobile. Now, when it comes to a web app, sometimes the web app is almost exclusively accessed on desktop. And so for that reason, we're usually only going to have a desktop audit, but you can add iOS, you can add Android if you like. You can upgrade the standard to 2.2 conformance level AA. We choose 2.1 AA as a default. And so that is what our accessibility audit cost calculator uses, but you can upload to 2.2 or upgrade to 2.2. Many clients do. You can add in the WCAG edition of the BPAT or another edition, and just continuing on down, you could add other services, user testing, technical support. And so this calculator is here to help you estimate your accessibility project. And as long as you're conservative with this, the quote is very likely going to come under. So I will go ahead and link to the cost calculator in the description. I'll also include a link to contact me. And so if you do have questions about an accessibility audit, of course, we're happy to help. So I'll include these resources in the description for this video.